Good afternoon and welcome back to Russell Does Stuff. This is my YouTube channel. I work 6 hours on Monday, 6 hours on Tuesday, and whenever I don't get finished up, I'll take care of on Wednesday. The topic of today's video is revenue. Consistent revenue from your business. I've always used this analogy when it comes to a service business and your revenue. Where does your revenue come from? Number one, where does it come from? If you just started out in a business, you're not going to have a lot of customers, and you're not going to have a lot of referrals, and you're not going to have a lot of reoccurring accounts. That played a big part in my decision to pick the service business that I'm in now. When I walked away from a job I had doing the same type of business, the same line of work, I didn't want to do that kind of work. I wanted to do something else. I had an idea what that something else was, but I wasn't doing it. I didn't have any customers. I didn't have a business then. And as I've said in other videos, when I started doing what I consider non-reoccurring jobs, non-reoccurring accounts, I was backed into a corner. One week I would have a cleanup, a painting job, some tree work, and then the next week I wouldn't. Then maybe the following week after that, I would have a cleanup, maybe a painting job, a trash out, or something. If it wasn't for somebody grabbing me by the shoulders and saying, hey, that business plan is not going to work for you, Russell. The writing on the wall was that what happens when the cleanups go away and the painting jobs go away and the trash outs go away and the tree jobs go away? What are you going to be stuck with? Nothing. This business you have is nothing. I need reoccurring accounts. I need a lot of interaction with customers. I need money coming in regularly. And that type of a business really wasn't a business. Yes, you can advertise, and a lot of people can advertise and stay ahead of the last job that they just completed. I always use Sean's tree service as an example for this thinking. He cuts a tree down. He doesn't have another tree to go cut. He's relying on somebody to have a need, find him on the internet, and then go through the process with him, which is the estimate. He's got to sell himself to the people. They have to land on a price. He has to get the job. When you have reoccurring payables, like I have in the lawn business, I found that, number one, I don't worry about money. Unless a customer fires me or I lose a big account. I did a video the other day on, are you prepared to lose an account? I can lose a few accounts and still do okay because I have built the business up enough to where I have a large overage coming in. My bills are taken care of, and then some. It takes time to get there. A good example of reoccurring payables is an air conditioning company. I have a background in air conditioning, and I've owned an air conditioning company. I've owned 2 air conditioning companies. You want to sell maintenance contracts to your customers. When somebody calls over the phone, they found you on the internet, word of mouth, etc., you want to get in front of them. So you try to sell them on your company, your reputation, your price. And then once you get in front of them, you want to offer them a maintenance contract. Why? Because now you have somebody paying you twice a year for a regular maintenance on your air conditioning unit. Some businesses want you out there every month. Some businesses want you out there every 3 months. Homeowners, if you can talk them into 6 months, you're in front of the customer another time during that year. Normal policies for maintenance are once a year maintenance. You know, when I was doing it, they were $89. Twice a year was $165 or whatever. But you had a commitment from your customer, and that customer was going to send you a check for whatever contract you've structured for them. Mailbox money. So when you're in the air conditioning business, you don't have to worry about where your next customer is going to come from. You have your customers nailed down already in this thing called a maintenance contract. They're going to call you if they have any issues with their air conditioner. They're going to call you if they want a new air conditioner. They're going to recommend you to their friends who have air conditioning issues, etc. I have seen air conditioning companies go from zero to large, massive enterprises. I have seen large, massive enterprises turn into a tiny company. Now that was running 100 and some trucks is now running 2 trucks with 1 service guy, maybe a receptionist and stuff. And those companies got that way for a reason that I'm not going to go into on this video. To get back to what I'm talking about here, the analogy is like sitting down at dinner and you're eating your meal and your meal slowly disappears. In some cases, you have somebody in the kitchen that you can say, hey, can you bring me some more? Or you can get up and go into the kitchen and get seconds or thirds or whatever. In the tree business and some of these service businesses, you can't get second and thirds. Once you've poured that driveway, installed that toilet or that water heater, that's it. The average of getting reoccurring business out of that person is almost zero, unless there's an issue with whatever you installed, the toilet, the hot water heater, etc., you're not going to hear from this customer again. How many customers do you know that need hot water heaters all the time, one right after the other? You don't. What they're trying to do now is sign customers up to hot water maintenance programs. They tried to sign a friend of mine up to one of those programs. Pressure valve was bad. And they said, well, if we came out here all the time, we would have caught that. And here's a contract. Do you want to sign up? We'll come out, we'll flush your hot water heater, and we'll check the parts on it, and we'll keep it up and running good for you. Now, a slick salesman can sell that stuff. Any good salesman can sell anything to anybody. But back to the plate of food. Once you've eaten that meal, it's gone. Once you cut the tree down, it's gone. Once you install the concrete slab, it's gone. There's a guy who ripped me off when he poured the slab for my shop. How he got business was this way. I would recommend him for the good job that he did for me. And I was prepared to recommend him to almost 9 people upon completion of my concrete floor. Now, he did not do a good job on my concrete floor. He poured my concrete slab in the rain. He knew it was going to rain. And we had a monsoon for 3 days. He stuck it out for as long as he possibly could, and then gave up, and he abandoned the project. He lost an avenue of business because of what he did to me. I can no longer recommend him. He lost a lot of money. I had other friends that needed driveway repairs, shop floors, you name it. I wanted a driveway for the entrance to my shop back there. He lost that. So Sean, my tree guy, didn't do a very good job on the last job I sent him out to. So he lost that. She's not going to use him or recommend him. That is not that he didn't develop that into anything. It's done. My lawn service pays me every month. Somebody's sending me a check. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do and I'm responsible, they will send me a check. And if they need something, they will reach out to me. I did a $500 cleanup for a customer today. When you have a lawn account with somebody, they're going to 9 out of 10, they're going to call you and ask you if you can solve a problem for them or not. She had a problem, and I told her I could solve it for her for $500. I just sent over all the photographs to her. She's very happy. I asked her how I can get paid. I'm in no hurry. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'll eventually get it. Okay? What business can you get into that will pay you every month for your service? Examples of this type of stuff have been around for a long time. Remember those 8-tracks that you could buy for a penny in the magazines? You sent them money and they sent you something. And then you had to keep paying over and over, and then they would send you 8 CDs, 8 tracks, 8 cassette tapes. Same idea. As long as you like the tapes, you'll continue to pay them. They'll continue to get money every month. and they won't have to worry about where their revenue stream's coming from. Sean always worries about his revenue. Where's his revenue coming from? A lot of the time, he has no idea where his revenue is coming from. He'll cold call me and ask me if I have anything that I need him to do. And most of the time I'm like, no, you just did it. And it comes in spurts. Every 3 months or so, I'll have a bunch of tree work for him. I know what it feels like to wait for the phone to ring, for somebody to call up and ask for your services or an estimate. It's brutal. I don't have to worry about that in this business. When this business was up and running, full steam ahead, people were sending me about this thick of checks twice a month to a P.O. box. Mailbox money. First time I ever heard that phrase, 14 years ago or so. There's some influencers on the internet right now on YouTube who use that phrase, mailbox money. So it's been around a long time. But it changed my life and it changed my thinking when it comes to getting into a service business. Pools, window washing. You hear me repeat that an awful lot in these videos. There's a comfort in having people pay you every month. You can budget. You can think ahead. You can buy another business. You can pay your house off. There's a lot of things you can do when you know how much money you have coming in. That's why I don't look into restaurants and those type of businesses, like a convenience store where you're waiting on customers and your location has to be perfect. You have to be in the right place in order to catch these people. I watched this YouTube channel called Southern Life or something like that. He drives all over the state of Florida videoing all these towns. And for it seems like the last 3 or 4 months, most of these towns are empty. He'll drive by all these plazas with all these businesses and they're all empty. And they're sitting there waiting for somebody to walk in their door. And we've all done it. Hi, can I help you with something? No, I'm just looking. All right, thank you. And you turn around and you exit their establishment and you haven't purchased anything. The owner of that store had that sick feeling in his stomach. Finally, a customer came in and they left without buying anything. I don't know what that feeling feels like anymore because I picked a business that pays me every single month as long as I'm responsible. And I've been a man of my word over and over and over again. I don't have to worry about where the dollars for this business are coming from. I have established a nice customer base, and it took a little bit. Didn't happen overnight. So this is just some food for thought. I'm sitting here hanging out with Wayne, horse from working hard in the Florida sun today, but I thought I would share the hamburger theory of business. Once you take a bite out of it, it's not going to grow back unless you do something about it. Well, this is Russell with Russell Does Stuff, and thank you for stopping by and watching this video, and catch you on the next one.